recording is in progress, and perhaps you could begin with the introduction and then proceed from there. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So today we do have Nicholas Bilika from the Democratic Republic of Congo, who will be giving us his presentation on the activities that are happening in DRC at this time. I'm hoping that Nick will be able to introduce himself now. Nick, you're able to unmute yourself. I'm hoping that he is available. It looks like he might potentially be frozen.
Hello.
Hello, Nick. Yes.
How are you?
I'm very good. So if you like, do you have
Yes,
a presentation that you wish to share with us?
Yes, let me check it.
You should be able to share your screen as well.
Yes, I'm checking it, please. Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Do you see my presentation, please?
Yes, we do.
Yes, good. Let me start. Can I present myself, please?
Yes, go.
My name is Ambassador Mbilika Nicola from DRC. I am a human rights activist here in the east part of Congo. Today, I'm happy to be here in the group to show my expose, which is entitled The Social and Economic Outcomes of the Conflict in the Eastern part of DRC, Congo. Do you hear me, please? Hello?
Yes, we hear you. Please proceed.
Hello, do you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, good. So good. So good. Hello.
Yes, we are here. We can hear you. You can go ahead.
Good. Good. So before going ahead, the first chapter is introduction. Introduction of
You are muted at this point.
hello.
Yes, no, you became muted there.
Good. I said the first chapter in my expose is introduction. Good. And in introduction, the first point is the cycle of wars and violences. So before going ahead, I would like to tell you that this expose came from the unification of 3 NGOs here in the eastern part of DRC. The first NGO is Vision Plus pour le développement durable. The second NGO is HPD, and the third, which is the last, is Alveo. And these NGOs act in partnership when there is necessity to do humanitarian work here in the eastern part of DRC. Well, do you hear me, please?
Yes, we do.
Good. Let me first explain why I chose this topic, because we should have a lot of topic to present, but this one, why did I just choose it as an interesting one? As you know, DRC is among countries in Africa where there is the high rate of human violences, right? And these NGOs, I think there are three, they were born at the same period. It means in 2006, while we would have the first democratic elections in DRC Congo. And to tell you about how the war came or started in Congo, the report observed that in 1996 alone, there was a genocide in Rwanda, you see, and people flew Rwanda up to Congo, and Congo was among countries which was like shelters just to welcome these people as the refugees, right? And this was the beginning of the mixage of different nations in African region, because many people came from Rwanda flying the genocide, and then they reached the eastern parts of Congo. But there was a necessity for human rights agencies such as MONUSCO or such as UNHCR and others just to come together to think about how can they deal with this situation, because there was many refugees coming from Rwanda to Congo, and since then many UN reports was published, and among these reports I will show you in the annex some of them which was reported showing that human violences started in Congo from 1996, right? And in 2002 in Lusaka, some countries met in order to just to take a compromise which was aiming to take some agreements to see that how some African countries can cease fire. And among these countries, we should have Rwanda, we should have Congo, we should have Burundi, we should have Angola, and so on and so forth. This is why a ceasefire was declared. But in my expose, I will show you that till now, the situation is worsening and worsening. Hello?
We are still hearing you.
Good. I was talking about the ceasefire, which was taken as an agreement among 8 countries. This was in Lusaka in 2002. So the second event, which happened in 2001, was the death of the former DRC president, Mzee Kabila. So this event also increased the rate of violences, the rate of local group arms, which was created here and there in DRC. And this is why after the death of that president in 2001, we should have a government which was formed by 4 leaders. It was called a transitional government. So the aim was just to see how they can declare the ceasefire, because we should have 4 leaders, and these 4 leaders should have all of them part in maintaining peace in DRC. So most of these problems have a long history, dating as far back as the colonial area. It started even since the independence of DRC. It means before, when Leopold was the one who should control DRC and its corners. So what happened now? There is also a problem which also is among reasons which increase insecurity in the eastern part of Congo. It is just the presence of natural resources in the eastern part of Congo. So I'm not here to teach you, but as you know, in the eastern part of DRC, we have a lot of natural resources. We have gold, we have silver, we have diamonds, we have many, many natural resources. So apart from political matters which lead to the fact that we have many local group arms, we have also natural resources among the reasons that push insecurity in the eastern part of DRC. And I will tell you that we have also some Western countries, such as US, such as France, such as China, which equip these local army groups in terms of armies in order to perpetuate insecurity in the eastern part of Congo. So this is a dilemma. We have these powerful countries among countries which do their effort to have peace. The same country out there to help some local group arms to have or to keep on perpetuating insecurity in the eastern part of Congo. So now the second point is conflict as a social and economic development problem. As my expose is entitled, the expose aim to give some consequences of war on local communities here. So the conflicts in DRC have been a major cause of concern at the national, regional, and national level, especially due to the heavy death. We have so many people who are dying because of insecurity. I will present you a table in which I will show you some conflict among some tribes here on the eastern part of Congo. We have many tribes who till nowadays, they have misunderstanding between other tribes. I would say it's some. So which happened? We have first, as consequences, we have death. So we have many innocent civilians who are killed each day here because of what? Because of searching of natural resources. And when people need to have power on natural resource, they create local group. They are equipped by some neighbors countries, as you know, such as Uganda, such as Rwanda, such as Burundi, even some Western country. I'm not afraid to talk about China. I'm not afraid to talk about US. So we have some physical injuries. I will show you in my annex our last annual report on VPDD and these two NGOs, where we show you the number exactly of some people who have been killed in Fizi. We are here in South Kivu. We have also Calais, because in South Kivu, in the eastern part of Congo, we have two territories where we have the high rate of killings, the high rate of human rights violation. I'm not going to talk about the high rate of rape. So Dr. Mukwege, the former Nobel Prize, is there to talk about this. So we have also some conflicts. I'm talking about some conflict between some tribes, some conflict between DRC and its neighbors. Good. So the mission of UN agencies, because here all NGOs deal with UN agencies. So for example, I remember in 2006, we had a project which aimed to accompany people who are called, the project was there to demobilize people. It means to tell them to cease fire, and MONUSCO gave some money. I remember $200,000, because we have so many conflicts. And by telling people to cease fire, put down your guns, MONUSCO's there since 2006 to help to see how insecurity can decrease here in the eastern part of Congo. So they developed many strategies. Among them, demobilization is there. Among them, the social activities. I remember in 2010 with MONUSCO, we went in Calais. We went in Calais, exactly in Bunyakiri. We are there in South Kivu. We had the project because in Calais we have many local army groups, and MONUSCO gave some money to sensitize people to come together for peace activities. Among them, we should give some training about how can people, kids, live their forests, because many local army group, they are hiding some forests, how they can live there and come in the town. We should give them some teaching about how they can survive after putting down their guns. And if we're telling you that MONUSCO is there, I will show you even our former report, annual report in 2010, where MONUSCO gave us some money to do this. Oh, let's go on. So do you hear me, please?
All's good.
Hello. So on the other hand, the chronic wars and conflicts. Good. On the other hand, the chronic wars and conflicts have undermined economic development. So people who have arrived in Congo, exactly in South Kivu. So South Kivu is near the country. South Kivu is near Rwanda. And many people go to Rwanda for trade. So they go to Rwanda to buy some products and they come back in Congo to sell them, so to have some money to survive. That's what I'm telling you, when there is war, when there is a conflict between Congo and Rwanda in the eastern parts, these people are not allowed again to cross the border to go to Rwanda to take their product and come again back here in Congo. So Rwandese do the same. So people came from Rwanda, they come to Congo. So there is exchange, there is in terms of importation and exportation between these two countries. I'm sorry, because I'm citing Rwanda too much. So the DRC rank at the bottom among other developing countries in human and social development. So you see, as I'm telling you, because of these conflicts, many people now are dying, not because they are killed, but because in the former time they used to trade to go to Rwanda, to Burundi, to Uganda, but actually there is a misunderstanding between this. So people again are not going there, but some NGOs intervene in this by telling people, you know, you must have peace between you and your neighbors. And I'm really proud because in April, there is a contract which was signed among 7 countries in Africa, among them Congo and the neighbor country. We have Rwanda, Burundi, and so on. And this contract aimed to maintain peace and to reestablish the trading in terms of importation and exportation between people in Africa. So strategic importance of the conflict. So why the conflicts are there? I'm telling you the main problem which brings conflict and all the consequences. It is because of the natural resources. And actually in South Kivu, for example, we have a lot of people from all over the world. So we have people from China, we have people from the US, and all of these people, they came through some NGOs. They say we came there just to help you with some goods, to help you with them this and that. But this is there because they need some natural resources. And this brings what I call in this expose a social instability, because we have all the time the influx of refugees. I'll take an example. Last year in Fizi, where we have a bureau of our energy, there is a conflict between people who are called Babembe and people who are called Banyamulenge. Because here in the eastern part of Congo, you can't convince people that Banyamulenge are Congolese, but they live together, but they have some limits. There is discrimination between these two people. Good. Let me go on, please. Good. So the DRC's neighbor has a high stake in the end of conflict, giving the negative impact on this conflict on their economy and political stability. For example, refugees flows constitute not only an economic burden on the receiving. So we have many refugees in Congo and they came from Rwanda. So it's now our burdens, because when they came here, actually with HCR, we have many refugees camp here in the eastern parts. I'm sorry, because here in South Kivu, we have more than 1,000 refugee camps. So I will show you some photos on the annex. Moreover, the DRC has been and continues to be used as a struggling ground by rebels movement oppose the regime in Rwanda, Uganda, Burundi, and Sudan. And as I tell you, nowadays, even humanitarian actions are not stable, because even these local groups, now they start kidnapping even humanitarian good. Now the following points, I'm going to cite some countries which are really involved in this system. First, we have the US, we have the Belgium, we have also China. Actually, if we go, for example, in Mwenga, where we are in South Kivu, we have a bureau there. We have many people from China. So Chinese came, they have their machines, and they bring instability because their presence there is not accepted by the local, the local community, and there is misunderstanding between the local communities and Chinese. So why they came here just to steal our mineral? So this is also a problem. So DRC has received a large invasion since 1986 by Rwanda and other countries. So we have internal factors to the crisis. So internal factors, they came from the same, so the local population of DRC. We have also external factors. I'm going to cite some neighbor countries which are really involved in perpetrating insecurity in the eastern parts of DRC Congo. So another point which really is among some point that we should really take care about is the failure of democratic transition. And this started in 2006, where we have the first election when Kabila was elected as the first democratic president of DRC. So since that time, some people didn't agree with this. So we have the second election in 2011. We have the third in 2018, and next year we are going again to vote. So elections also is among some reason which really bring instability in the eastern parts of the country. I'm talking about exploration of natural resources. I cite many natural resources such as diamonds, coltan, cassiterite, tin, copper, gold, and so on and so forth. But the question is, when these natural resources are explored, where do they go? So, hello, hello.
We're still hearing you.
Good. So the question was, when these natural resources are explored, so where do they go? So these natural resources are explored in the eastern part of Congo, but these natural resources are there on the benefit of our neighbor countries. For example, gold is exploited in Congo, copper the same, but these natural resources are kept in Rwanda because our neighbors countries created local armed groups in the eastern part of Congo in order to have control on natural resources. And many NGOs, among them we and UN agencies such as World Food Production, such as PAM, such as UN Mass, all of these UN agencies are struggling each day in order to promote peace, to tell people should live in good relationship with your neighbor and so on and so forth. But the situation is decreasing. We have also the weakness of the state and absence of responsive government. So the question is, how many agreements have been signed between Congo and its neighbor countries? So we have many agreements which have been signed, but these agreements are weak because there is no application of this. That's why the local population now suffering from poverty, the local community suffering from the fact of missing even what to eat. Because when you see, for example, in Beni, in Butembo, we have a large fleet of refugees. They need shelter, so HCR can intervene. They need food, so World Food Production can intervene, and some NGOs such as we. I remember last year, we were involved in a given campaign with World Food Production. The aim was to distribute some seeds to agricultures, because when a person is a refugee, the person needs food. And World Food Production has gathered some NGOs, giving them some equipment to help people to restart again agriculture. We have also the military context. Our army here in Congo is mixed. We have an army which is not a pure army formed by national soldiers. Good. Hello.
Yes, we can still hear you.
Good. I'm going on. So our army also is there, but the army is full of strangers people, because since people came from Rwanda, since they came from Burundi, flying the genocide in Rwanda. So when they came in Congo, they start living as Congolese, although there is what is called discrimination. So we live with them, but we are not with them. So even the army, even the political system, everything here, we have the mix of these politicians, of these people, I'm sorry, from different countries. But the context is the same. So crisis is increasing, human rights violence is increasing. So we have so many outcomes. Even humanitarian activities are perturbed here in the eastern part of Congo. That's why we are launching each year so many projects in terms of the demobilization. We launch so many projects in terms of providing food to refugees, because the flux of refugees in each day. We are launching many projects to give some social activities to people who have been victims of human rights violation. For example, I remember last year, we were giving some training to women who have been victims of rape, for example, in Calais, precisely in Bunyakiri. So we have so many activities, although there is a presence of insecurities, but the aim of this expose was just to present you that the situation on human rights here in the eastern part of Congo is really worse. And the situation is getting worse and worse each day. So we have mobilizing some fund, I'm sorry, but this was not sufficient because we have insecurity here and there. So before concluding, I would like first to talk about some solutions that really we propose according to what we are seeing on the ground. Because when someone is called a humanitarian, he's there just to see the problem, but also to give some of the solution. I'm not going to talk about some consequences. I cited them when I was passing, when I talk about some death. Nowadays, we are talking about 5 million people who have been killed since 2014 in the eastern part of Congo. This is too much. And as you know, all NGOs here in the eastern part of Congo report their activities at OCHA, because OCHA is the coordinator of UN agencies. So at the end, I will let you some document that you can read, in which I will show you some activities that we have done with MONUSCO in the mobilization, some activity that we have done with World Food Production in terms of providing food to some refugees here, or some program and project that we have. All of this in order to help you just to come back to we after this presentation. I'm not going to finish this expose without telling you that we have also a social media, and the presenter will give you the page at the end. You can go through and check all our publication. You can go through and check all we write there, some human reports in violence that we have published. And nowadays we are making some papers with some researchers to have good scientific document to present you. And among solutions that we have provided here, it is now time to tell you that we need to have strong leaders here in Congo, because all leaders who came before, they were just unable to bring together all these countries. It means DRC and the neighbor country. We need to have strong leaders. So we have to have armed actors in the eastern of DRC. So we have to have an army which is composed by people from, so pure people from this country, Congo, because we have actually more than 5,000, I'm talking about 5,000 local army groups operating in South Kivu. We have 4,000 operating in North Kivu, and other army groups are born each day. So the human rights situation here in the eastern part of Congo is really decreasing. I'm not going to neglect the action of some humanitarian, especially UN agencies such as MONUSCO. As we read my expose, since 2006 and 2012 up until now, the mandate of MONUSCO has been changing. So I would like to congratulate MONUSCO because it's our first funds provider here, because without MONUSCO, the situation should be worse here in Congo. So I'm going now to conclude by telling you that once you read this, because I'm sure you're going to check our social media, you can be back to us for some questions and some advice also, and also some so for everything you need. So thank you very much for this expose. I think I'm done. I'm going now to let you time just to come back to we with some question. I will share you the documents and all documents we have. So thank you very much. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Nicholas, as well. This is really, I think, a little bit eye-opening for many who probably don't realize just how serious the conflict is as it's ongoing in DRC, especially in the areas you are at. And so we will continue probably for another 10 minutes or so. And if anybody has some questions for Nick, then please put up your hand. And if you have any other comments or discussions as well. I'm seeing Maisha. You want to unmute yourself? Maisha? Are you able to unmute yourself? If not, we can go to Juliet.
Yes, good evening. And
Go ahead.
yes, no, thank you so much for that presentation. I think it was very earnest, and I could sense that it came, I mean, straight from the heart, you know. And as you were presenting, I mean, I see the facts and everything. What as someone who's very concerned about overall psychosocial well-being of communities, you know, I am actually wondering whether, you know, as an organization or as a country, you actually see the need to start having some form of programs to help people to deal emotionally and otherwise with all this conflict that they're going through or that they've gone through. I know that some people that we have from the DRC in South Africa, they tend to, you know, when they came, a lot of them, they're saying they are refugees. Half the time as South Africans, we don't understand how serious the problem is back that side. So this, I mean, this presentation highlights those issues. But I'm also just wondering about, you know, internal programs that can be done to assist people to not to have to carry or to heal or to start healing, and so that, unlike South Africa, so that people don't have to carry the burden of pain of the conflict for generation after generation, you know. But I appreciate your presentation, and well done, and thank you again.
So thank you, good.
If you wish to try to unmute yourself at this point, Aisha.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm just asking if Maisha is able to unmute herself.
Good.
If not, then perhaps we can go to Gabriela.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Gabriela.
Yeah, thank you so much, our moderator, Protocol Observed. Good evening from Uganda. Thank you so much for that great presentation from our brother in Congo. Mine is just to add on or a question to him. In the presentation, he talked about the Chinese, and I believe Congo is a land of rich minerals, and it has opportunity to carry on sustainability activities for the people infected and affected. So my question is, how can Congo or the people of Congo or the community that our brother that has been presenting, how can he tap into these resources that the Lord God has given unto them to make Congo or that community a better one? Can we do like synergy? Can we get like partnership so that we can improve the livelihood of people right there in Congo, so that the people can own the land, own what they have, own the natural resources that are in there, than leaving all this that they have in their disposal to the Chinese or the foreigners that come in and partake of what belongs to them. Yeah, here in Uganda, actually the western part of Uganda, that's Bundibujo, which borders Congo, we have a very high number of refugees from Congo. So that is instability already from that place, from the Congo nation. So as we are discussing here, and we just thank him for bringing up this to us, how can we help him? Because it's like a national or a national or a government issue or a problem from the top to the bottom, whereby the lower people are the most affected. What can we do for Congo to make these communities better? And what can we do for the natural resources that they have, so that these local people, leaving no one behind, they can own what belongs to them? But I think our brother who has been presenting, I just want to encourage you. I think there is hope. There is restoration coming. And now that you brought this in such a meeting, we can brainstorm together and we see way forward. So, and another thing is, do we have also human rights bodies in Congo? Human rights, like where you can report cases like for children, laws governing children, governing the women, governing the elderly persons, governing the vulnerable. Do we have them? How much are we utilizing these bodies in the government setting? Thank you so much, Mr. Lloyd, Professor Lloyd, sorry. As I get in along with the discussion, thank you so much. Well,
Yes, so I'm hoping that that Nick was able to get those questions.
Yes. So hello again.
Let's go ahead, Nick.
Hello, do you hear me, please?
Yes, we do.
So let me first go back with the second Gabriela from Uganda. Yes.
Yes.
Good. She was talking about how can Congolese profit from the presence of natural resources in their country. This is right. So because she wonders, I'm sorry, how can DRC be as such a rich country while the local population still facing all kind of human rights violation? Good. Let me precise something before answering her question. And what I want to say is like, DRC is rich, this is good. We have all kind of natural resources, this is good. But what we miss and what we need is to have equipment. We need to have equipment. We need to have tools. We need to have all of this in order to dig and to have natural resources, because they came from, so they are hiding in the soil. And DRC is not a developing countries which can have all of these tools. That's why most of the time the country is obliged to sign some contract with between DRC and some developing countries such as China, because China is the first country which invests much money in natural resources in Congo. So we are obliged to go back to them because we miss some tools to explore our materials. But what happens once a contract is signed between Congo and for example, China, they're just to help, for example, I remember in 2009, do you hear me, please? Hello?
Yes, we can still hear you.
Good. In 2009, there is a company which came from South Africa, which was called Trangiza Mining Banner. So this company came, and the aim was just to explore some mineral in South Kivu. But in the contract, in fact, the company should build roads, the company should build schools, the company should build hospitals, the company should give some money to help the local population. But unfortunately, as I said, we have some leaders who are weak, I'm sorry, some leaders who are really corrupted, in fact, of taking that money and develop the local community. So they embezzle the money. So they use the money to have what they like. And this is why we have good contracts, but as we have leaders who are not really serious, the local population is still in misery. So this is the first point. So the solution is just to have a leader who is really who has the heart of developing his own country. So let me just tell her that we have our role as humanitarian is not just to intervene directly in conflicts, but we should first do what is called to report when there is a case of human rights violation. And if you check our site, because I gave you the social media, you will see many reports that we have been presenting, showing all kinds of human rights violation in South Kivu, in Fizi, and Calais. So as humanitarian, we have the limits. When there is human rights violation, we take the context and we alarm. So we do it as an alert to tell people that the situation is bad, but we can't go far from that. So this is my my intervention about what Gabriela from Uganda was saying. Let me go back to Juliet. Yes, Juliet Miabo. She was talking about some emotional consequences of this. Yes, as you know, there is a Fondation Panzi here. I think you know it. Fondation Panzi with the Nobel Prize, Dr. Mukwege. So his organization is taking care of all kind of emotional treatments from people victim of all kind of human rights violation. So you can get in touch with them and they can give you much detail. So our role is just to alert and just to see how we can intervene when there is some money from UN agencies. But this is not sufficient. We need to have good funds. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is it possible you could put some of the names at least of those organizations that you mentioned into the chat so that people will know who those organizations are, potentially get in contact with them if they wish to follow up. We'll try one more time with Maisha.
Excuse me, first. Patrick continues to try to share his screen. I have no idea what that's about, but Patrick, you need to unmute yourself and let me know what you're trying to do. Otherwise, Maisha, can you unmute yourself, please? And you can take the floor.
Maisha?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
Go
sir.
ahead.
Okay, mambo kwanza nashukuru kwa nafasi za kwa
Thank you very much for giving me the floor and for this meeting.
nitafuta niseme
Before going ahead, I'm going to introduce myself. I am Aisha Vianney, the founder of AHIABGA and director of UnityNet in the DRC. So I have listened to all the interveners, and especially the man from DRC, whom I thank very much for what has been doing. But I would also like to say something.
Kazi yetu kubwa, tunajua nchi zote ziko na shida. Kongo hata Amerika ina shida yake kwa sababu watu wanalia na
yes, I would like to highlight something. As we as UnityNet members, we do recognize that there are many problems in many countries.
Kongo kama Ulaya hata na Afrika yote.
Yes, there are problems in the DRC and all over the African continent.
Lakini nini tafuta niseme kwa ajili ya DRC?
But what I would like to say about DRC,
kweli iko na shida nyingi.
Really, there was so many problems.
Lakini kitu kinachohitajika DRC,
but what we need in DRC nodes is to sensitize young people to initiate works companies in order to produce.
Kwa sababu hata wale wenye wanasema wanafanya marebelio. Eske rebelio inaleta amani, wale inamaliza njala iko Mkongo?
Yes, I heard the man talking about rebellion. We know that rebellion can't put the end to hunger. It's not a way to overcome hunger or other problems.
Lakini tunaweza kulima, tunaweza kufanya ma-entreprise, tunaweza kufanya makazi ya mikono na zinaleta kumaliza vita na makonflikt.
But we can cultivate, initiate, create companies and other issues that are able to overcome conflicts and hunger and joblessness.
Na kwa sababu kitu ya kwanza kukosa chakula ni deuxième guerre mondiale.
We know that the lack of food is one of the origins or one of the sources of conflicts.
Deuxième guerre mondiale.
Yes, it is. It's another kind of war.
UnityNet tunazidi kujitahidi kwa ajili ya
and I know that unit solution on the problem it is are encountering, and AHIABGA organization is struggling to sensitize young people on how to find a solution concerning the problems.
Na pia ilifaa kuinua pia wamama na kuwaunga mkono. Tuweke mwanamke pia kwa nafasi ya kwanza.
Yes, we have also to give great importance to women so as they may also fight against the problems.
Kwa sababu wakati mwanamke hajajua kuendeleza ekonomia ya nyumba yake ya nchi yake, njala haiwezi kuishi.
When, yes, we know that when women are not able to master the household economical policy or the country economical policy, we are so far from reaching the solutions that we are needing.
Na neno langu la mwisho ni kwamba ninaomba wa investisseur support organization za Kongo kwa mlimo, support wa vijana na wamama na investisseur kwa Kongo ni nchi nzuri yenye inaweza kuleta suluhu kwa 80% kwa dunia mzima.
Okay, and my last word is that I invite the investors to come in DRC in order to invest in many sectors, including agriculture and other sectors, in order to give job opportunity to those people who are wondering what they are roaming here and there because they are jobless and women.
DRC yenyewe inaweza leta solution ya 80% kwa dunia mzima, na kwa hewa na kwa chakula.
Because I know that once the potential health of DRC is used for economical purpose, DRC is able to feed all the African continent, and why not all the world? DRC is able to do that. That is why we need investors in many sectors, but we can't put the blame on others, on foreign countries, on those. No, we invite investors in one way or another. There is no the insecurity that that is being brought up. Yes, is the result of many conflicts and hunger. But once we eradicate the hunger, it will be one of the way of fighting even against insecurity. Yes, we can't.
Mezosia, asante kwa guvernema kwa sababu iko najitahidi hata kama uwezo iko chini. Tunaamini kama kunjia UnityNet tutasaidia pia pamoja na guvernema kwa kumaliza.
And I know that the government is struggling to fight against insecurity in some parts of the country, and our effort, our own effort, together with UnityNet, I know that we are going to bring a solution, but we can't put the blame on others. What we need is financial support here and there. Thank you very much for having listened to me and giving me the speaking turn.
So thank you very much, Maisha. And so I'm looking at the clock. It's 10 after 1. I want to know if Nick has any additional comments on what he has just heard.
Yes. So, do you hear me, please?
Yes.
Also, please put any questions in the chat. If you're unable to unmute yourself or unable to communicate, please put your information in the chat and Lloyd can facilitate. Thank you.
Good. So let me say something about what Maisha has come just to say. Hello.
Yes, we hear you.
Maisha, I thank him first as an international president of UNIT here in Africa. And his reaction was really brilliant, but I would like to add something, because here we have two types of projects. We have resilience projects and we have development projects. And it's really good to mention that DRC is a country which needs development projects. So we don't need more, again, resilience projects. And this is a great mistake that some organization has done here in Congo. So they came with resilient projects, and this lets people being dependent of their project. It means when the project is over, the action on local communities is like there is nothing which was done. But when they came with development project, it means they equip local organization. They give them tools. For example, in agriculture, they can give them all the requirements in order to have a durable production. This is good. So we need a development project, not resilience project again. Good, thank you.
This is actually very useful to listen to the terminology that you are using in terms of resilience projects versus development projects, whereas I believe that what we are trying to do, of course, here are true development projects in the definition that you have provided, where we are certainly attempting to empower people with the knowledge and skills to provide themselves with the self-sufficiency. Are there any other additional comments or questions for Nick? If not, we can probably close out. It is nearly 1:15, so we have been on a little over 2 hours with our presentation in total. Did you have any closing thoughts, Andrew, or anybody else?
No, just thank everyone for being here. We will, of course, be here next week and for succeeding weeks. If you're able, you can access the replay on the AHIABGA network on Facebook. Make sure we have your contact information in the chat. Each week, we will send out the chat to those people whose email addresses we have, even if you've been here before. If you're not have your information in the chat, you will not get a follow-up. But Lloyd, I'll turn it back over to you. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Andrew. I believe we are going to be wrapping up for today. And so I wanted to thank everybody for coming on the call for week 49 of our IGU Summit. And we will be following up for next week with a different guest speaker. I believe it's Wangila Kevin, who is coming to present for us next week. So thank you all.
Lloyd, I do want to make clear that week 52, which will be a 1-year anniversary, technically, will be just the day after Africa Day. So you may want to think about some type of special celebration or acknowledgement on May 26th to mark our 1-year anniversary, and also Africa Week, Africa Day, if you so choose.
Well, so we're in week 49, 50, 51, 52 is June 2nd, actually, just before.
Well, at any rate, you will be having an event the day after Africa Day. So I would suggest you think about commemorating that on that day.
Mm-hmm. Certainly. Okay. I will definitely be talking to our guest speaker for that day to make sure that
review the day events that have happened up to that point. I think it'll be very auspicious for this particular group to do a review. Juliet and Lloyd, maybe you two can get together and think about that.
Okay.
Gabriella, your hand is raised.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Protocol ZAP. We were talking about the African Day, not forgetting also now that today our brother from Congo was discussing about human rights. 15th of June, we are commemorating the World Elderly Abuse Awareness Day. So I think we also have to put that in our calendar, Professor Lloyd. Yeah.
Yeah, so we will have a follow-up about that.
Yeah.
Let's discuss that also on WhatsApp, and then maybe convene a meeting about that so we can put together an event for that.
Also, just as a note, July 17th is Nelson Mandela Day, and typically there's 67 minutes of peace building acknowledgements. So these are events coming up. Lloyd, I'd like you to think about sharing your calendar and perhaps addressing these events that are coming up as well. Because worldwide, if we're representing the Indigenous Unity Network, we certainly need to be taking advantage of every opportunity we can to address peace building solutions as the world is spiraling into chaos. Let us be the stable data that everyone else can work through.
So definitely, we do have a calendar. I need to update the last few months of it, and then I will share that with. There is a link that I can share for all to see that calendar.
I know you have to leave, Lloyd. Juliet, I see your hand is raised.
Yeah, no, just quickly, thank you. Before Professor Lloyd leaves, is that, as Prince Andrew was saying, I'm available for us to brainstorm some online virtual events linked to the 26th and Mandela Day. And I think the same way that we put some things together for the tea diplomacy, we can maybe work on something on a small scale for those days. But you and I, Professor Lloyd, I guess we can discuss after this, as part of also AHIABGA-TV.
Okay, excellent. Excellent. Thank you, Juliet. So
Okay,
just
if
trying
that's
to write
all
this down.
up today, and we'll get ready for next week.
Thank you so much for a great session.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks to everybody, and we will see you next week.
Thank you, everyone.
Love to all.
Bye-bye.
All right, Henrik. Talk to you later.